Alright guys, so if you want more MRR and want to wake up every morning with many Stripe notifications, you need more SaaS signups. In this video, I'm gonna cover the best ways to fill your SaaS sales pipeline with signups, and I'm gonna give you the advantages and disadvantages of each method. Alright, so first, my favorite way to generate qualified SaaS signups is SEO. With my SaaS, we're generating over 30,000 visits per month, and it brings us many free trials every day of the week. It's the closest thing to passive revenue if you build a strong SEO, because you can generate leads in your sleep and convert them automatically if you have a strong onboarding process. The other good thing about SEO is that leads are actively looking for your solution, and those leads usually have a better conversion rate than other channels. The mistake that SaaS founders tend to do with SEO though is to go for too competitive keywords. When you're starting out with SEO, you want to go after what is called long-tail keywords. Long-tail keywords are easy to rank and give you extremely qualified leads. It's the best way to have quick wins with SEO to grow your SaaS. For example, at Breakcold, I quickly realized that going after the keyword CRM will be impossible when you literally have a $33 billion per year SaaS against you, namely Salesforce. So instead, we went for more niched keywords related to the pain of our ideal customer profile, like Pipedrive versus SalesMate, which are competitors, and we plugged ourselves in the process, and because of that, we basically got SaaS signups. The main problem though with SEO is that it takes time to rank articles, and if you can't wait for 2 to 6 months before getting results, then you should focus on things that should get your results more rapidly, like cold emailing. Some people love it, some people hate it, but cold emailing is one of the best ways to put your product out there. At Breakcold, this is exactly what we've done day one to get customers. We were pretty much sending between 10 to 20,000 cold emails per month, and these days we lowered our volume to just focus on a small batch of accounts. One thing that people don't realize with cold emailing is that most people will not reply to your cold emails, but they will straight away look at your website and sign up for a free trial, and magically 7 or 14 days later, you have new paid subscribers and you've done literally nothing. I remember this time where I was doing a case study in Vietnam with one of our customers, and he told me that he signed up because of a cold email that he never replied to. Another cool thing about cold emailing is that it's very cheap to do. These days, using softwares like Find Gmail or Better Contact to find leads, or using Instantly and Smartly to send cold emails will not cost you more than $100 to $600 per month, depending on how aggressive you want to be with your outreach. So cold emailing is very, very cheap. The biggest mistake people do with cold emailing is that they don't really know the ideal customer profile. Because of that, they build leads lists that don't make any sense for the offer, and they get barely no responses, mostly negative ones, so they give up, and then they say on socials that cold emailing is dead while it's not dead at all. So basically, make sure to spend proper time to know the audience of your SaaS, how to pitch your product if you want cold emailing to work. Finally, I should say that the main problem with cold emailing is that it's always getting harder and harder to reach the primary inbox. Google and Outlook are fighting hard cold emailing at scale, so you need to become a cold email expert to maintain your email inbox hygiene. But still, in my opinion, sending cold emails is so cheap that you should always do cold emailing with a software or manually. Another way to fill your SaaS sales pipeline are LinkedIn DMs. LinkedIn DMs, if you're running a B2B SaaS, are the best way to generate SaaS signups whatever the stage you're at. I've made a 20 minutes video about how to be successful with LinkedIn lead generation, so the only thing I'm going to tell you here is that if you really care about having strong results, don't use a LinkedIn automation software to send LinkedIn DMs, at least until that you crack how to sell your product in the DMs manually. I think people want to automate too much before even knowing how to make it work manually. Don't do this mistake, guys. The only problem you'll have with LinkedIn DMs is that you need people to accept your LinkedIn advice to send them a DM. Other than that, I believe it's the best way right now to get conversation with cold leads or warm leads if you're running a B2B SaaS. The next way to fill your SaaS sales pipeline with signups is to leverage cold calling. We recently started cold calling at Brightcall, and I was pretty shocked about the results. The ratio of demo book with high-value leads was much higher than with cold emailing. We're talking about 3 to 4 times the usual value of leads generated through cold email. But cold calling is not for everyone. I would say that you only want to do cold calling if you have a B2B SaaS that is a little bit expensive. Because to cold call people, the main resource that you need is time. And to have a nice return on investment for that time invested, your SaaS needs to have a high ACV, annual contract value. So basically, if you sell $29 per month subscriptions with no potential for seats, not consumption-based or anything, cold calling is simply not for you. I'd say the biggest mistake people do with cold calling is that they don't want to pay a lot of money for phone numbers. I think it's pretty dumb because in the end, you end up with bad data. And if you have bad data, your sales reps will not reach as many leads as they should be, and ultimately, you will make less money. So instead, go for a quality data software like Better Contact, where data can be expensive, but not as much as ZoomInfo, for example. Better Contact also has an average 70 to 80+% enrichment rate on phone numbers, which is even more than the average enrichment rate for emails. If you do that, you'll be able to have back-to-back calls where people reply to you almost every single time, so you have more conversations and opportunities to generate big ACV leads. The main problem with cold calling, like I already told you, is time. It takes a lot of energy to cold call people, even if you have good data quality. However, you have what is called parallel dialers that allow you to make the process of cold calling much easier, so you're always making sure with parallel dialers basically that prospects pick up your calls. Another way to generate SaaS signups that people absolutely love is posting content on LinkedIn if you're running a B2B SaaS, or posting content on X if you're running a B2C SaaS. Posting content is arguably the most lazy way to generate SaaS signups. I know what I'm talking about because at Brightcall we went from $0 to $2,000 per month just by sending a bunch of cold emails and shit posting on X before we quickly realized that our actual audience was on LinkedIn. The good thing about content is that most people are shy about building a personal brand, so when you think about it, actually, you don't have that much competition. Even with a small amount of impressions, you can generate SaaS signups with your post pretty easily. Another advantage of posting on socials is that it will help your outbound efforts. When you send a LinkedIn message to someone or a cold email, most people tend to check your profile before responding to you, and if you have an online presence, you're more likely to get replies. So technically, posting content on socials increases your outbound reply rate. The biggest mistake people do with posting content is that they're overthinking what they should be posting. They need to come up with flashy videos or elaborated infographics when actually what people care the most about are stories. If you just share quick screenshots of what happened during your week, for example, converse with prospects on your customer support, you'll attract eyeballs and people will stay not for the type of content you share, but for you, because for whatever reason, they'll vibe with you with your story. The main problem with posting content on socials is that you won't become a superstar overnight. It takes time to learn how to grow on LinkedIn or to grow on X. But even with a small audience, you can already have enough reach to generate hundreds of SaaS signups per month, which is more than enough already depending on your ACV. Finally, one of the best ways to generate SaaS signups is to put in place an affiliate program. You have plenty of good softwares for that. I personally use First Promoter. It's not very expensive and it's pretty reliable. If you're doing a good job with your SaaS, why not leveraging your customers to bring new customers? Everybody wins with this method. For example, on my SaaS Brightcall, we have multiple customers making $500 plus per month with the people they brought on the platform. It's pure passive income for them, and it's good customers for us because people who are referred from someone else tend to churn very little. There's no real disadvantages to run an affiliate program except maybe the real annoying people that will run Google ads on your brand name to pretend that they've generated signups for you while they've done. Actually, it's pretty easy to spot them, so all good at the end. Alright guys, make sure to subscribe to that YouTube channel for more content like this and try my sales CRM software Breakcold if you need to turn your SaaS signups into paying customers. Cheers, bye.